How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have another in our Understanding How to Build series where we go over each of the set 1 leaders to help you understand how to build the deck to best suit you and if the leader is right for you. So we've started going into the aggression side of the leaders now. We start off with Darth Vader being the first one, and now we're on to the next one being Grand Inquisitor. So if you're interested in Grand Inquisitor, feel free to stay along and we'll help you understand how to build a deck. But remember, we are not giving out deck lists in this kind of series. We're just giving you options, but basically help you understand how to build a leader to suit you best and how your current playstyle. So without further ado, let's get into the video. But before we do, let's remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then or at a later time that suits you best. So with that out of the way, let's go and have a look and see how. Well, let's not go and see, but let's understand how to build Grand Inquisitor. So this is the leader, Grand Inquisitor. So he is one you probably might not have seen too much of because he's not one that sees the most play. I'm not sure if he's like the most recognizable character or popular character, but he is one of the Inquisitors that with the like little sub tag being hunting the Jedi. So he's quite an interesting one. He deploys at around 6 resources, so like turn 5 at the earliest, unless you play a bit of ramp with him to kind of get him out early. But he's one that can like be quite aggressive as well, so it's like a dark side one that can be very aggressive. Because he doesn't have the best stats, but he has some nice stats at 3/6, so he's at the range to take down with his health, but he doesn't do much damage or 3 damage, even given that he's a force unit as well. And he also has some interesting ones. He has a force trait, which is quite handy, quite a good one to help you use some of the force cards in the different aspects. And also he has the Imperial one, so he gets a big benefit from that from the dark side. And then he has Inquisitor, which currently Inquisitor doesn't have the most support or great support. But as we get more sets of stuff, that could change. We can have more Inquisitor like focus cards. So in the leader area, before you deploy him, he has an action effect that allows you to tap him. Well, you got to tap him as a cost, and you get to deal 2 damage to one of your friendly units with 3 or less power, and then you allow you to ready it. So as long as the unit you're trying to deal damage to doesn't only have 2 health, you can then deal damage to it, restand it, and then be able to attack with it at the same turn, which is quite nice. Because when you play a card, all cards, unless otherwise stated, come in exhausted, come in tapped, and this allows you to make use of the card to be able to attack it straight away on the same turn by doing a bit of damage to it, so you can restand, but it only works on 3 or less powered units. And then when you deploy, you are now coming in at 3/6, and now you only have an effect which is on attack now, which is kind of similar to the leader area side, but you do a little bit less damage to the unit. So on attack, you can deal 1 damage to another friendly unit with 3 or less power and ready it. So rather than deal 2 damage, you deal 3 damage to so 1 damage to it instead. But now it is on attack rather than just any point. You have to attack with the lead to do it. But you can make use of it both sides. So before you deploy, you can use Grand Inquisitor to tap himself, still do damage to a unit with 3 or less power, ready it so you can attack with it. Then deploy Grand Inquisitor, swing, deal 1 damage to a unit, either the same unit or another unit that's 3 or less power, and ready it again. So you can probably get if you played it the same turn, you can get 2 attacks out of it. But if you played it, it was there for the previous turn, you potentially get 3 attacks out of a single unit, which is quite nice. So that's the leader, and also you get access to the benefit of the being aggression and villainy as well for your aspects. Speaking of aspects, these are different aspect combinations or color combinations, because I know people don't always check them, or I can remember, or like if they're quite new to the game, understand what the name of the aspects are. But you've got Vigilance being the blue one, Command being the green one, Aggression being the red one, and then Cunning being the yellow one. And then you got the white and black one being Villainy for the black one, and Heroic or Heroism for the white one. So for Grand Inquisitor, you get the 2 aspects when you start off. So every leader, every leader has either a villainy aspect, so either has a dark or light side, be villainy or heroism. Then it has one of the other 4 color ones, which in this case for Grand Inquisitor, it's the aggression one, the red one. So you start off as black, red, and then with your base, you can get another aspect to have like your aspects aspects to be able to play cards. Because you can include any cards in your deck, play any cards. When it comes down to actually playing the cards out, it comes down to your aspects. So you get 3 aspects to have like your aspects you can use, and then if you don't have any aspects that match, you get the aspect penalty. And what the aspect penalty basically is if you have an aspect on a card that you want to play that doesn't match what's on your leader and base, you have to pay an extra 2 resources for every aspect that doesn't match to play the card. So on top of the cost of the card, an extra 2 on top for every aspect that doesn't match. So if you were playing basically Grand Inquisitor with a Vigilance base, so Grand Inquisitor with a blue base, and you want to play a green card, you'd have to, if you wanted to play, if you're playing Grand Inquisitor with a blue base and you want to play a blue card, you don't have to pay an additional cost, you just pay the cost of the card. If you want to play a green card, you have to pay an extra 2 on top of its cost, because it doesn't have, because the green aspect doesn't match anything that's on the leader base. And if you wanted to play a green white card, so a command heroic card, you have to pay an extra 4 on top of the cost of the card, because neither of those 2 aspects match what's on your leader and your base. So do that, bear in mind, that's why it's important matching your leader and base with the right aspects you want to use for your deck, because any aspect that doesn't match, you have to pay an extra cost. It could be not worth it, or potentially be worth it depending. So with the combinations for Grand Inquisitor, you can play a base as either Vigilance, Command, Aggression, or Cunning to get those extra ones, and the benefit you can get is by having access to the card pools. So we'll start off with the first one being Double Aggression, because that's the one that kind of has the limited card size and has the interesting look on it. Because before we get into it, we're going to go into the ratios though, because there's no point in going into the aspects if you don't know like how many copies of any card you want to play. So we have examples of cards you want to play 3 of, 2 of, and 1 of. So yeah, you can kind of see what the benefits are. So you can play up to 3 copies of cards. You can either play a card in copies of 3, 2, or 1. And if you want to play 3 copies of cards, you normally want to play 3 copies if the card you want to see as early as possible and as many as possible. Basically, just see like good cards you want to see as many as possible quickly. And we have things like example Super Laser Technician, being a very good ramp card you can put in. That allows you to ramp, and also ramp in active as well, so you can use the energy straight away. And these are kind of cards you want to see as many as possible quickly, so you can ramp up and play bigger things quicker. Then for topic copies of 2 cards, these are normally like things that are quite heavy costing cards, like quite big costing cards, like high cost, that you can't really play early, and you don't want to be slammed full of them, but you do want to see some of them when you get to the later game when you can actually play them. So you don't play 2 copies rather than 3 copies. You can still see them when you need them, but not get them like clogging up your hand early. So things like Count Dooku here, which is a very high costing card but a very strong one. You don't want to have too many of them in your opening hand or early turns where you can't play them, because you won't be able to play this until turn 6 when you've got 7 resources. So you don't want to see too many of them. So having 2 copies means you're going to reduce the amount of times you're going to see multiple early, and hopefully see them later in game when you want to use them. And then we got 1 copies. These are normally like tech choices, cards that you kind of want to put in for a certain matchup to kind of help you out. But if you don't see them, it's not a bother. But if you do see them and it's kind of helpful, it's useful. And if you do see them, but it's not useful, you can always resource them. So things like Vader's Lightsaber here, which is a unique upgrade, which you don't really get benefit unless it's attached to Darth Vader. But it still is an event, a cheap costing event that gives you 3 power and 1 health to a unit, which could be very good unit to put on just for those stats on top of like your leader. So you might want to include 1 copy. So if you see it, you can put on your lead, or put on a card to give it an extra boost. But if you don't see it and it's not useful, you can just chuck it down your resources when you do your resupply. So hopefully that makes sense around a ratio if you want to put a copy of 3, 2, or 1 of any card in your deck. So kind of know if you want to put a full playset or only a few copies each of it. So now let's go into the aspects and kind of have a look and see what benefits are. So starting off like we always do, with a double aspect, we're going off with aggression. And like with every aspect, you've got 3 copies, you've got your 3 bases. You've got 2 that are just basically vanilla bases with 30 HP. And you've got 1 rare base that has a little bit less HP at 25, but has an epic action, being something you can do once a game on thanks to your base. So Tartan Town is the aggression one, and its epic action is allowing you to deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit. So while you can't do straight up 3 damage to something once a game, you can still use it as a way to finish it off, because whereas it will be a damaged unit, if you kind of like try to take out a unit with damage but it doesn't quite finish it off, you can use Target Town to help finish that unit off. So it's very handy, very good for like what aggression wants to do, because it's all about like aggressively putting damage and taking things out. But in double aggression, it's kind of limited. It's probably like the worst kind of aspect combination, or the double aspects currently in the game. But as we get more sets, it could get a lot better and a lot more useful. But currently in the first set, it's not as useful compared to the other double aspects. Now in double aspects, the options you do get is you lose access to another whole aspect, which means you've got a lot less of a card pool to use, but you get access to some powerful cards, but you're very limited in those powerful cards, because while you're losing a whole aspect, you get access to just 3 cards. And that is Soul Guerrera, a card that can help put attacks on your opponent playing events by making them deal more damage to their base if you want to use them. Rallying Cry, which allows you to give if you've got a wide board, allow you to give them all rate 2, meaning that when they attack, they get 2 more power for that attack. And then you got Aggression being an event that all double aspects have, and they're all named after their aspect. They give you an option of 2 of any 4 effects on it you can use in any order. They're both like all these kind of events are 4 costs with double aspects and offer some really good effects. Currently, this is not the best double aspect to go for, being Aggression for the first set, but as we get more sets, as I said, we can probably be better. But for now, I wouldn't bother going for double Aggression Grand Inquisitor. I'd open up to different aspects that have more of a card pool and more options that kind of benefit Grand Inquisitor. So the first one we got is Vigilance. This is a pretty nice one because it has a lot of units that fit into Grand Inquisitor's kind of like requirement to kind of make use of effect, to kind of restand things like the first 3 you see on board. Probably some of the best ones you can go for it because you've got Inferno 4, which is a very nice one, a space unit. And just when on play, when defeated, allow you to help look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and either decide if you want to put any number of them to the bottom and keep the rest on top of your deck. So you can kind of filter for your deck to kind of find things you want to see a little bit easier than most things can. And it's got enough health that when you're in your leader area, you can pop damage on it, so you can restand its swing for a little bit of damage. You got Scout Bike Pursuer, which is a nice one, which is quite weak at 1, but it's got grit, so it means the more damage it has, the stronger it gets. So it goes perfectly with Grand Inquisitor, and now you do 2 damage to kind of swing into it, and that 2 damage goes to power up, making it because with grit, for every damage it has, it gets that much in terms of power. So if you took 2 damage to restand it with Grand Inquisitor, it then gets extra 2 power, making it a 3/4 just when it attacks or when defending as well. Very good for a unit you can play on the first turn of the game. Then you got Death Trooper, which is really nice, which is another unit that has the maximum potential of damage you can get for Grand Inquisitor to restand, and also as a way to kind of like deal more damage to kind of chip away damage to your opponent's board. And also like maybe put power up like things like Scout Bike Pursuer's power by giving it more damage for grit. Very nice units, very good for the early game. And you also got Security Complex as well, which is a pretty nice base you can go for the rare base in this, because this epic actually is giving a shield to a non-leader unit. So you can like say play Scout Bike Pursuer, use Grand Inquisitor to do 2 damage to restand it, give it a shield so that way it's protected, because while it's only got 2 health left, it's then doing 3 damage, and it can just keep hitting, and then if they want to take it out the first time, they have to go for the shield before getting to the second time. You also have some other nice units like Dalmiko, with a really nice one that gives you a bit of healing with Restore 1, and also a nice little tax effect, which makes so each event your opponent wants to play costs 1 more. So if they want to play like so if you're going first against a ramp deck and they've got their resupply ready to do, and you play Dalmiko, they can't play resupply on that turn on their second turn because they've only got 3 resources and it's going to cost them 4 to do it. So Dalmiko is a quite nice one. You can mainly for a sideboard, but a very nice one more for Grand Inquisitor because it meets the stats. You need to kind of restand it with Lee's effect. Then you have a very powerful event in things like Power Dark Side being a very nice one, forcing opponents to just defeat a unit they control. Doesn't matter what one it is, they just got to choose which unit they want to control, defeat it. And then also it can hit leaders as well, which is a very nice good part of it. And the benefit of this is the less cards your opponent has on board, or less units they have on board, the worse it can get for them, by like less options they've got to get rid of, so you've got less things to kind of sack off. Where the wider they go, the more options you've got to kind of get rid of the things they don't care about the least. Then in the non-dark side of it, you've got more units that you can kind of make use of Lydia's effects, being like Guardian of Wills, being a nice force unit to go well with the force cards you've got both in this little bit in blue and also like a lot in the aspects of the leader. You also have Maze as well, which is a very nice one, a little bit more expensive, but while you got Initiative, you also gain Sentinels, you get kind of protection from your base. And also like the Scout Pursuer has grit, so the more damage it takes, the stronger it gets, meaning that the first time you do use Grand Inquisitor effect on it, then it's going to be out of the range of Grand Inquisitor to kind of deal damage to restand it again, because it's then getting too strong because the grit adds on top. So the difference between grit and raid is grit adds onto the actual power of the card, where raid just adds power when it attacks, not all the time. And you've got Rugged Survivors, another one that's a bit more costly, but can be used with Grand Inquisitor effect to kind of restand the swing. And it has grit as well, meaning that you can the more damage it takes, the stronger it gets. And also, if you can play this out and keep it around while Grand Inquisitor's out as well, you get the benefits on attack, where if you control a leader unit, you can draw a card. So the longer the leader survives while this is out, the more cards and more options you're going to get given from itself. Then you have every units that also fit really well into it, like System patrol craft, give you a bit of sentinel in the space arena to kind of help protect yourself in that way. And also as another unit you can restand with Grand Inquisitor as well. So that's what you may want to look for with this lead, is units you can bring out and restand that get benefits from the leader's effect. And then you also got a balance of things. Because you're a force unit in Grand Inquisitor, and you can have some force units as well, you can make use of this to kind of heal damage off things. You can kind of heal damage off them, so you can restand them with Grand Inquisitor again. And also then, if you've got Grand Inquisitor on board or a force unit out, you can then put that damage and never place being on your opponent's units instead, which is quite nice. So you've got some very good benefits. One of the best combinations you probably get for Grand Inquisitor, because you've got a load of good units to make use of his effect, plus you've got some nice protection in like shields and healing as well, due to Vigilance. Then we have Command. So this is one that is one of the most popular. Yeah, one of the most popular of the aspect combinations amongst cards. Like most people, most decks, most leads, they go with Command as their like base to go with if they don't have Command already on their leader, because you get access to a very powerful event. Base being Energy of Lab, which is a really nice one with a great epic action on you. Place like 6 cost or less with Ambush. Then you got to pay the cost of the card you play off it. You don't play it for free. You got to pay the cost of it still. But you're allowed to get Ambush, which is a skill that allows you to ready and restand and attack another unit the same turn you play it. Because usually when you play a unit, it comes in exhausted unless otherwise stated. But Ambush allows you to restand and allow you to attack another unit, not a base, only another unit your opponent controls as soon as it comes in, which is quite handy. So you can help like kind of control the board before your opponent and like get rid of things before your opponent can make use of them, which is very handy when board control is key in this game. Now in this one you got some pretty nice units. You can use. You've got like Seasoned Sword Trooper and Rook as really nice ones you can like restand and make use of. With Seasoned Sword Trooper getting stronger the more resources you have, and Rook having like a nice little thing where it's shielded. So I can't remember exactly the rule if you need to actually do the damage to it or just try to do the damage to restand it. But Rook's a nice one where if it attacks a unit and deals combat damage to it, to a non-leader unit while attacking, you defeat it instantly. So you got like instant removal from that. And you got Super Laser Technician. And now Grand Inquisitor is quite nice in that it can kind of like straight away make use of Super Laser Technician to kind of ramp straight away. You can play out Super Laser Technician, use Grand Inquisitor to do damage to it, it'll get defeated and it goes straight to your resources, so you can ramp up quickly rather than have to wait till your opponent to attack it or the next turn to be able to attack into it to kind of force it to KO itself and get resourced. And then, like we've seen in probably all the other Villainy sides when it comes to Command, we have Darth Vader and number 1 Barrage as very strong units, being Darth Vader being one of the most powerful and most expensive legendary units in the game, being very strong because of very great stats, ambush as well, and a very good effect to play out something from the top 10 that's dark and a combined cost of 3 or less. And overall, Barrage allowing you to boost up one of your units by extra 2/2 and allow that unit then to deal damage to your opponent's units in any way you like, up to the cost of the power of the card. So you power up and then do more damage out as well. Then on the non-dark side of it, you've also got some pretty nice units. So you've got some pretty good ones you can make use of Lee's effect, being Homestead Militia, being a pretty nice one. That also gains Sentinel if you control 6 or more resources, kind of benefit like Seasoned Sword Trooper. You've got everyone's like Conroy Yularen giving you heal, and same with Consortium Star Viper giving you a bit of heal as well, but also being units you can restand with Grand Inquisitor. And then if your opponent, you got nice ever cards like Traitorous is a good event to kind of take your opponent's units and like make use of them to either make use of the leader's effect, which is taken away from like aggro decks and stuff like that, and then resupply to help you ramp so you can get like Grand Inquisitor quickly. Because once he's out, you then have Force as an option, a Force unit in play to kind of get benefits of Force cards, and also deal less damage to your units to make them restand and do more attackings. So this is an interesting one. This is probably like one that you probably might think that everyone's going to want to go for because Command is such a good aspect to have with a lead, but it doesn't gain as much benefits as Vigilance, and it doesn't have as many great units as Vigilance. But this is never a good one you can have because you can like get an instant ramp with like resupply or even Super Laser Technician using the ramp straight away by using these effect to pop him straight off the bat. And that makes this a pretty nice card as well. That you not too many cards you can restand for the leader's effect, but at least enough that you can make use of. You also then be able to play bigger things once you've got things established. Then we've got the last of the aspects being Cunning. So Cunning is an interesting one because you do have some pretty nice units, but they're not the absolute best really when it comes to the units. Like you've got some nice ones, but not too many that can kind of survive the leaders 2 damage. Now you do have some nice ones like Boba Fett being one of also one of the second most expensive legendary units in the game. Also a really nice one because solid stats for a free cost, and also able to survive at least twice Grand Inquisitor's effect to restand him swing. And also he's got a nice effect where on the attack, if he's attacking a unit that's been there since the last turn, it's rested, you can do an extra 3 damage to it. Got things like Jabba allow you to get some more benefits of trick events, which there's a fair few ones in Cunning. Also having a lot of health to be able to make use of it multiple times, and also even finds you a trick event for the top 8 when you play it. You got Boss, which can't be used by the Grand Inquisitor to kind of like restand and swing, but does have a big benefit in having ambush, and also doing extra 2 damage to a unit until you play an event, which is a lot of events in not only Cunning, but also in the dark side of Villainy as well. You got Cartel Spacer being a very nice control space unit that can also be beneficial for in the range of Grand Inquisitor to be able to restand and attack again. And No Good to Me Dead being a very good event for the dark side as well, being a stop sync, lock sync down for 2 turns, which is very good. And before we go on to the non-dark side of Cunning, I forgot to go over the leader, the other side of the base. Now, the rare base Jeddah City is not the best. You can give -4 to a non-leader unit. It can help against aggro to kind of like make it so something doesn't do as much damage. So you can take it out without taking too much recoil, or doesn't do too much damage to your base. But it's not the best one compared to the other bases, really, if you think about it. So, with the other side of Cunning, you also got some nice units that also help with it out as well. So you've got like Outer Rim Headhunter being a nice one. All 3 of these units being that Outer Rim Headhunter, Spire Starfighter, and Strafing Gunship. All units that can be restood with your leader. So all got enough health to survive its leader area side to pop and then be able to attack again. And with the 2 cheaper ones, the 2 cost ones, will both have a raid 1, so you do a little bit more damage when you attack and have some benefits. So like Outer Rim Headhunter, if you got your leader out, you can exhaust a non-leader unit when it attacks. And Pyro Starfighter can help you bounce back cards that have been damaged enough where they're going to die and not be able to survive the Grand Inquisitor again. So then be able to play next turn and then have this one as in range for Grand Inquisitor to restand to attack again. And Strafing Gunship being a very nice one that can attack between arenas where normally only cards in the same arena can attack, so only ground to ground and space to space. But Strafing Gunship breaks those rules, ignores them, laughs at them, and can attack ground arena units from the space arena. It does take 2 less damage back, but it does that. So it's a really nice unit with a unique effect. And you also got some nice little events as well. Like you got Shoot First being a very good event. And you attack with a unit, give it +1 for that attack, and also have it deal combat damage before the defender, which can be very useful, especially when you restand a card. And also being a trick. If you put Jabba in, you can play it for free because of Jabba's effect to reduce the cost of trick events by 1. And you got Change of Heart, allowing you to take control of a unit but give it back to your opponents at the end of the turn. But if you can finish it off before you give it back, you don't get to worry about that. So you can even use your leader's effect to kind of pop damage on it to potentially attack with it if you've got a unit that's within enough of power, like 3 or less power to attack with, and potentially finish it off as well before giving it back, maybe as well. So some pretty nice units in there. Like I haven't really explored too much of Grand Inquisitor. I've been playing like the Vigilance version of it, but it is a leader that I originally didn't see myself ever playing, but after like trying it out just before to just try out all the different leaders, it actually is an interesting one, a nice one that I do really enjoy, and it has got some potential. Like it's one of those ones where it's actually got potential in each of the different aspect combinations, not just 1 or 2. So I would recommend giving it a try. But you got more control in Cunning, more like better units in Vigilance, and then you got more like options in Command when it comes to the later game if you can make use of his leader's effect, while also having good things to make use of your leader's effect in all different aspects as well. And you also got access to some really nice cards in just the dark side as well. Like you got Snow Trooper Lieutenant being a very like a unit. Well, Snow Trooper Lieutenant and Viper Patrol being very nice ones to help put some pressure on. Not units that can really be restood with Grand Inquisitor, but that's okay. Or at least not wise in the leader area anyway. But have really good effects, quite cheap, so you can play it early turn 1. You got Cell Block Guard and General Fears, which are ones that can survive Grand Inquisitor's effects to restand them, so you can attack. And have some nice effects like Cell Block Guard having a Sentinel. And in General Fears, allowing you to give a boost to all your Imperials, even whatever Imperials, even your lead when he's deployed as well, and that kind of give a bit of boost. So you got nice things in that, and especially when you got cards in the Villainy side of aggression, are normally Imperials as well, so you can get benefits on those as well. Speaking on cards in the leader's actual aspects themselves, you might be thinking, what cards are in aggression ability for Grand Inquisitor? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we have some nice ones. Like, you have some really nice Ever Imperial Inquisitor units as well, because Grand Inquisitor can't be without some of his Ever Inquisitors. And we've got Fifth Brother, Seventh Sister as well. So you've got Fifth Brother being a nice, cheaper unit. Once again, he can makes good use of this leader by having enough health to kind of survive being restored by him. Also gets stronger and gets raid for every damage on him, so he gets a lot stronger the more damage you put on him, which is great with Inquisitor. And then on attack, can deal 1 damage to itself, to deal 1 damage to a ground unit, to kind of like make him as strong as possible. And you got Seventh Sister being a really nice one. Has Saboteur, so she can what Saboteur basically means is you can ignore Sentinels and Shields, so you don't have to worry about Sentinels having to attack that card, or Shields on a unit if you attack into it. So you can just go straight to the base, even if Sentinels out. So a lot of health, but comes down quite late at 5 cost, but 6 health. And once again, both these units have like health, like its power, within range for Grand Inquisitor to restand them. And Seventh Sister, she does do damage to a base. You then get to deal 3 damage to a ground unit. So it's nice that she can ignore Sentinels, so she can attack straight to the base and just deal 3 damage straight away to a unit without attacking them. So these are really good units to go with Grand Inquisitor to kind of make use of effect. You also have Fallen Lightsaber, a very nice kind of a upgrade you can put on cards, especially any of these units here, like even the leader and these other Inquisitor ones, because it gives an extra 3/3 to the stats. So put them outside of range for Grand Inquisitor to restand them. But if you do the damage first to restand them and then equip this, then you can attack afterwards, because now they're active. Now you can put the Fallen Lightsaber on. And it has a nice little benefit where if it is attached to a force unit, it gains on attack, deal 1 damage to each ground unit until the defending player controls. So you can kind of like chip damage your opponent's entire ground arena when you attack with it as well, which is very good, especially when putting it with Seventh Sister. And then you also have some nice force events as well, like Force Lightning and Force Choke being a very good one. Being Force Lightning being a very cheap one to kind of choose a unit and get rid of all its abilities. But if you control a force unit, pay extra resources and do 2 damage to that chosen unit for each resource paid. So if you do, you can do enough to like take it out as well for cheap. And then Force Choke, benefit of this is if you've got a force unit, you can play out for cheaper, 1 less, but it allows you to deal 5 damage to a non-vehicle unit and then make the controller draw a card. So normally it's to take out your opponent's unit, and all these are very nice benefits with Grand Inquisitor to kind of like deal with your opponent's board quite easily and put some aggression on it. Also, as well as that, we got some other good units that are in the non-villainy side of aggression too. You have Participating Insurgent, being a nice one that you could while you control more aggression units to get stronger, and it's a nice one that you can like restand with Grand Inquisitor, and you can get some like heavy damage in with it as well, which is quite cool. So you play it in turn 1, next turn play another aggression unit, and then basically be able to swing with it, then restand using Grand Inquisitor to stack again to do like 6 damage to a base, which is cool. You got Wolf being a nice one that has its Saboteur, so you can ignore Sentinel and also kind of hold off people trying to heal their base. You keep aggressing their base and hold off them trying to heal it, thanks to Wolf. Starwind Scout being a nice one where if you got the initiative, you can just like swing for 4 damage, which is quite cool. And if you got the initiative, pop it yourself using the leader to then draw 2 cards, which is over because it's not going to survive much. And you got other units to make use of having force units or kind of similar effects to Grand Inquisitor. You like Force Throw, making your opponent discard a card, so a bit of hand control, but if you've got a force unit, it can allow you to deal damage equal to the cost of the discarded card to your any units, mostly to your opponent's units to take them out. And you got Keep Fighting being a nice event for 2 costs, and now to ready a unit with 3 less power, kind of the same effects as Grand Inquisitor, but without dealing damage to it. So you have some really nice units to kind of make use of Grand Inquisitor effect in its own one, and you got to choose then just the ever kind of aspect to kind of give more options and more things to add to that as well. So you got the aggression and good units in aggression and cunning, and villainy. Then you got to think about if you want the more good units in vigilance. If you want to have a more of a ramp strategy to kind of play out bigger things later on and kind of have like a good late game with a command, or if you want to go cunning to kind of have more control in the game as well as like being quite aggressive as well. So control what your opponent's doing while being aggressive to them. So that is how to build Grand Inquisitor. So hopefully it helps you understand. I personally would go for the Vigilance because it has a lot more options to go with your lead as well. Like even like each different cost, really good options to go with it. Plus have a little bit of protection in like shield and stuff, and also nice things in balance of things to kind of heal damage off, so you can keep doing damage to your unit to restand things to get as much use as possible with it. So that's it from me today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully this has helped you understand how to build Grand Inquisitor a little bit easier. And tune in next time for when we go over IG-88 as our next one in this series. Bye for now.